We did surveys of the board, and we did surveys of the general public, and there were some interesting findings. We got a total of 217 responses from the general public, and there were some interesting findings. First is risk tolerance amongst all stakeholder groups is high. So 64% responded with a 4 or 5, with a 5 being the most, the least risk averse. One of the questions we asked was, what is sort of the single most important thing that CIRM could do as a metric of success? And this one was also, I think, very insightful. That is demonstrating proof of concept in humans. 70% of respondents said that would be the single most important thing CIRM can do. It's very insightful, and we actually need to listen to this and figure out how we can make the agency more responsive to that. 62% of respondents said CIRM should only fund projects where our involvement in them is an accelerating activity. I'm very glad to hear that this was an overwhelming response, because CIRM should be an accelerating agency. Our mission is to accelerate stem cell therapies to patients with unmet medical needs. So if our funding isn't accelerating something, we've kind of lost our way there. And then lastly, and this one was, this one really jumped off the page, 70% of respondents identified the Food and Drug Administration as the single biggest impediment to developing a stem cell therapy today. And so that's a message that we also heard from people that didn't participate in the survey as well. And so we need to look at how we can help that. So sort of in summary on the where we are today piece of this. Historically, CIRM existed as an initiative-based agency. We are becoming a systems-based agency. It will take a little while to assemble and fully start that engine, but I think once that engine gets started, it's going to pay a very big dividend. Secondly, with very few exceptions, and there are some, most of our priorities are aligned amongst our stakeholders, which was nice to see. I think the translational stage of development represents enormous opportunity for us to speed things up. So the average time in translational research for a small molecule that gets approved is 3.2 years. The average time a cell therapy spends, or stem cell therapy spends in translation is 8 years. For the same activities, we have got to get that 8-year period down to 3 years so we can start getting these things evaluated more quickly in patients. It is clear that stem cell therapies continue to be a disadvantaged class over other kinds of medicines. That's both from a regulatory standpoint and from a commercial standpoint. And then lastly, the regulatory environment is clearly seen as an impediment to developing these therapies. So let's get in now. Now that we know where we are, let's